We all desire abundance, but contrary to this deep-rooted feeling, we often run away from it. No matter how hard you try, both financial and emotional freedom seems out of reach. This usually occurs when you separate the material from the spiritual instead of seeing them as two sides of the same coin. When this happens, you find yourself exhausted from this continuous chase, struggling to pay the bills or keep a stable relationship. Of course, the more you drag this state of being, the more you watch opportunities pass you by. Fortunately, a simple change in behavior can lead you to the results that have been eluding you until now. Earning spiritual gold through intentional practice can unlock doors you didn't even know existed. This helps shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance. And that's what it's all about, accepting that you're worthy of receiving prosperity in all its forms. But it's not always obvious how you do it. Hi, I'm Vlad from ReikiScoop.com, and in this video you'll learn what is spiritual gold and how to earn it. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to take your Reiki practice to the next level through videos just like this one. Now, let's get into it. Everything in the spiritual plane has a correspondent in the energetic world and also in the physical plane. So everything that exists in our physical world also has a counterpart in the energetic and the spiritual plane. It's like we go from lower to higher and from higher to lower. Everything in this world has a correspondent in another unseen realm. And that goes the same to say for money and for gold and for any precious stone or metal. Take a crystal, for example. A crystal is a physical manifestation of an energetic token, energetic item. It has an entity, it has an energy, it has a vibration, it has molecular structure that is alive. Truth to be told, a crystal has different appliances, different uses compared to other stones or metals or other jewelry. That being said, in this case, gold, for example, has a spiritual counterpart and money has a spiritual counterpart, as I was saying. So what does it mean to have, earn, and what exactly represents spiritual gold? Well, spiritual gold, the concept of spiritual gold has been around for millennia. You can find it in religious texts, spiritual books, cultures, and through many holistic approaches. It's not such a well-discussed subject because it's a delicate one. Why would gold have a spiritual representation and why would money have a spiritual representation? As mentioned, everything has a spiritual counterpart and vice versa. The thing is that spiritual gold represents a symbolic token in the spiritual world that also has an energetic counterpart, and in the physical is under the form of money and gold or any kind of precious stone. But it's a spiritual token that you earn, being in service for yourself and for others. Through selfless acts, devotion, and spiritual refinement, you gain, you obtain, you earn spiritual gold. But in the spiritual world, this is not just this is not about transaction. This is not about just paying something with a spiritual token. You can do that. I'll get into that a little bit later. You see, unlike material gold, which is valued for rarity and purity, this internal treasure helps earn a different spiritual level of awareness, consciousness. You can use it for understanding yourself from a divine perspective. You can use it for reaching a higher level of divine consciousness. You can use it for improving your methods of approaching holistic practices. Reiki, for example, meditations and others. You can use it for improving yourself towards the better in many fields. So it's not exactly like a payment per se, but it's a token that you can use to shift to a higher, better state version of yourself. Think of it as good karma, because karma, just to make a point here, a parenthesis, karma can be good and not so good, depending on your life choices and the elements that you have generated in this life and in the previous lives. This is not about, we're not going to talk so much about dharma and karma, but you can think about spiritual gold as good karma. And the more we cultivate this spiritual gold, the more we generate and integrate it and understand it from a physical and spiritual perspective, the more potential we have to unlock financial blockages, spiritual potentials, unlocking doors, opening doors towards learning new things in regards to practices, for example, or abilities that are useful for us in daily life, from learning new skills in the physical world to understanding ourselves from an energetic and spiritual perspective. This is what spiritual gold can be used for, among many other things. So it's not just a coin. It's a token that can be used for different purposes in your life. It can be also traded, so to speak. We'll get into that in a moment. Trading, you can trade it for releasing yourself, transforming karmic debts. We all have karmic debts. Very few people in this world that are incarnated and have arrived on this planet have no karmic debts. Most of us have. And that's why we're here to balance them out. One of the reasons we're here is to balance them out, learn, understand ourselves from all the levels I have mentioned, physical, energetical, spiritual, even emotional perspective. And in this process, we dissolve or transform the elements that need to be balanced out from previous lives and this life. It's not exactly as simple as you do good, you receive good, you do bad, you receive bad. It's not a punishment, and it's not exactly a reward, but it's a balance that happens. It's an aftermath, a consequence. And consequence can be good or bad, depends on what you're doing. So spiritual gold can be, to some extent, used. Instead, I wouldn't use trade, but I would use the word used for transforming certain elements in your life that require either liberating yourself from them or use them through this transformation for your higher purpose. A negative energy can be transformed into positive energy. A karmic debt can be paid off, and ideally you should learn something. You should learn that you had the karmic debt. You can pay with spiritual gold, but there's the matter of the lesson that needs to be learned and integrated when paying that debt. That's why it's not as easy as it seems sometimes just to pay with spiritual gold. It's not like you snap your fingers and you just pay for that karmic debt and then you go do and learn nothing and do the same again. The idea of balancing karmic debts is to learn something, is to understand the lesson behind it. Of course, it's difficult to understand a lesson when we don't have a background, when we don't have the knowledge or the notebook from previous lives, the understanding of what we did or how we functioned before, what we generated. However, engaging in spiritual practices, understanding yourself from an energetic perspective, as I mentioned before, creates a pattern of, goodwill or of engagement in beneficial situations, people, elements in your life, if that makes sense. So spiritual gold can help us with all this aspect. It's not just a coin. It can be used as a coin, but it's meant for you understanding and integrating certain elements in your life that are useful for this moment and in perspective. So how do we earn spiritual gold? Well, first of all, we can remember the ancient alchemist that desired to transform metal into gold. Well, they had three elements. They had the philosopher's stone, they had the elixir of long life. The philosopher's stone was the element that transforms normal metal into rare metal. The scepter of power, which offers them authority over others and over nations even. And the elixir of long life. I'm going to talk about alchemist or alchemy right now. But there is an internal alchemy that takes place when you heal, when you want to take yourself to another level, when you want to understand, hey, I'm doing this, I am engaging in that. I know that something is going on in my life, an emotional level and a spiritual, energetic level that needs to have a change, it needs to have a shift. Maybe something that needs to be enhanced, which is already good. It's not something that harms me or harms others, and it's a potential that can be enhanced. You don't need to get rid of it. But there are other elements which need to transform. But in order to be transformed, they need to be understood. So this whole process of understanding yourself and transformation, whether it's through Reiki, meditation, or working with others, working with yourself, spending time with yourself, spending time with others, understanding their perspective, or any other holistic approach or spiritual approach, even religious approach, implies a transformation and an alchemical transformation, to be more exact. And this also contains understanding the lessons, understanding yourself, and then engaging in the actual process. So this is one of the ways that you earn spiritual gold, understanding yourself and the transformation process, this alchemical process, which takes place inside your mind, inside your soul, inside your inner self. Another way of earning spiritual gold is to be in service for others, as I mentioned before. Offering compassion, offering acts of compassion, authentic ones, not for gaining something, but for trying to authentically find yourself in the process of authentically helping others, if that makes sense. So the more you offer yourself and to others, this time to others as well, help, be it food, be it water, clothes, or helping them with some certain needs or urgency, or taking care of urgencies in their life in that moment, this helps you earn spiritual gold, little by little, but it happens. Another way of earning spiritual gold is offering knowledge, therapy, attunements. They don't need to be only in Reiki, they can be in any practice. Reiki is just one of them. And the more you offer knowledge to others and you teach others with valid information, you offer valid information and you offer good one, the one that you have studied, you have tested. Or you can offer information that from your perspective, this is how it looks like, and perhaps people can think about that, can have a broader understanding, perspective about that subject. This stimulates their thinking, stimulates their creativity, stimulates the idea of them searching for the truth, because nobody holds the ultimate truth, that's the reality. So offering knowledge, spiritual knowledge, offering wisdom, this is one way of earning spiritual gold. Also the attunements, as I mentioned, receiving and offering attunements helps you earn spiritual gold. Can be in Reiki or other practices. Offering healing, distance healing, face-to-face healing. Again, could be through Reiki, could be through other methods. Guiding them in meditations, helping them understand themselves from an energetic, emotional, and spiritual perspective helps you and them earn spiritual gold. I do have to mention here that, because some will ask, okay, so I need to do them for free, or should I ask some money for it? Well, unless you are doing this just as a hobby and you have other financial gains, you have other things going on in your life, you could do this for free. But if this is even then, you can still ask for something symbolical for money, because there is a transaction between what you are doing and what they are receiving, that it's an effort. Even if you're the channel, they can offer something symbolically. They don't need to offer maybe the full price, that's true. But if you're doing this as a full-time job or business or however you wish to call it, and this is your only source of income, then perhaps you should take into consideration asking for money. Still, it's difficult to place a clear value of money for a spiritual aid, for energetic aid, for energetic help, or for therapy, because that is a restoration on a higher level that has a huge impact, beneficial impact on the physical world. So yes, you can ask for money from your clients or whoever it is, or at least something symbolical as a token of appreciation, as a token of exchange, and still earn spiritual gold. There's the version in which you don't ask. You do earn spiritual gold, maybe more, but you also take upon you more of the energy from others, more of the residual energies that need to be healed. Of course, what you take upon yourself would be in accordance with what you resonate at this moment in your life. So take that into account. It's not everything. You're not going to take everything from those people that they have on them from an energetic perspective, negative programs and residual energies, but it will be the one that you resonate with. You will still earn spiritual gold regardless of how you approach this point. Another way of earning spiritual gold are pilgrimages to sacred and holy places. There is a thing about those places, because especially if you walk, if you do the trip by foot, There's the Camino. I think some of you might know about Camino. It's a long journey. Not everybody can do it, depending on their health conditions and age and everything. Not everybody can do it by foot all the way. Some need a car, some need a transport. But at least a part of it, even if you do it by transport, even if you do it with someone that wants to drive to that place, it's still a small sacrifice. The time, the effort, the money that you spent on the way for a sacred place. I'm not talking about Camino now, it's just an example. The entire journey, especially if you, let's say, savor it from a physical perspective as well as the effort perspective, it helps you earn spiritual gold. When you go to, be it a monastery, be it a church, be it a temple, be it a synagogue, it doesn't matter what religion you are. Regardless of that, it can be even an old Buddhist temple, even if you're Muslim or Christian, doesn't matter. If you go to a place and you understand that there are many religions, everybody has a different perspective, and we can all live together very well and harmonious. We can understand each other. I've been to Hindu temples, to Buddhist temples. I understand that. I'm no Buddhist or no Hindu, but that doesn't mean I don't understand and accept that that's a sacred and holy place that offers something, offers a certain vibration, connects to a certain level of the universal life force energy. And that place should be respected as they are respecting me when coming there. It's a mutual respect. So going to such a place, by foot, by car, by bus, by any kind of transport, ideally by foot, some of you will probably think or ask, isn't it better? Yeah, it's a bit more, the bigger the effort and the bigger the struggle, the more gold, the more spiritual gold you earn. But you have to take into account your health, physical abilities, age, and all that. So don't do it. I will never encourage you to do it if you're not able to do it. I'm just saying, yeah, indeed, it does generate more spiritual gold, but it doesn't mean that you cannot do it using transport, as it still generates spiritual gold. Going to a sacred place, and when reaching that place, it helps you rejuvenate, helps you be cleansed, helps you heal, at least from a certain perspective. So all the sacrifice, all that concept, going to a sacred and holy place, symbolizes the effort and sacrifice which earns you spiritual gold. Which brings me to the next idea or concept of how to earn spiritual gold, and that's through fasting and prayer. And I don't mean diet, I do mean fasting, meaning that you combine the idea of a diet with a spiritual practice, be it Reiki, meditation, praying, whatever resonates with you, or you can combine all of them. You don't need to fast for multiple days if you're unable to. Again, you need to take into account your health, and any kind of health condition, but you can do it half a day, you can do it 10 hours, you can do it 8 hours, you can do it 24 hours, and see how it feels. Of course, again, if you have a medical condition, you should consult a physician or doctor before doing that. If not, personally, I've tried it many times, and it really feels a lot different, especially after doing it after many days, a couple of days. You feel like it's breaking the chains, not only of karma, but you exit from all the worldly problems and whatever stress it is. It's like you are going out of it. You cannot relate easy anymore with all the world's elements that are, kind of dragging us down sometimes, or are just pulling us to the earth, like grounding us, maybe in an exaggerated way. From that moment, you become like one with the light. It's a feeling that it's also a struggle, because you're not eating, you're not drinking water. That's the black fasting from Christianity. Don't need to do it exactly like that, but it feels like you're just breaking ranks, if that makes any sense. I don't know how to describe it better. You are exiting, you're separating yourself from all the stress and worries of this world. Well, you cannot keep that so much, because you live in the physical world. Keep that in mind. You need to re-engage with everything that you have as a responsibility and the world around you. One last idea would be your own perseverance in whatever you're doing, be it a goal, a program, a business, work, project, family, even if it gets hard, because we all have, our our days, our moods, our responsibilities, our stress. The perseverance means that you are overcoming your own mental and emotional obstacles, and also energetic obstacles, which is an effort, which is a sacrifice, which also earns you spiritual gold. It doesn't mean that you should overdo it. You need to respect yourself as well. Don't get me wrong. You shouldn't completely sacrifice and forget about yourself. If you do that, that's no spiritual gold. That's just exhausting yourself from all levels, physical, mental, emotional, just for the sake of others. I don't encourage that. What I mean is be healthy within your inner self. Take the respect you need for you. But sometimes you need to let go of ego, and you need to let go of self-absorption and just offer a little bit to someone else. And it's a sacrifice. Sacrifice is a hard word. In lack of a better term, this is what I use. Any kind of outgoing for helping others, for initiating some sort of help for others is like a small sacrifice that earns you spiritual gold. Again, don't need to overdo it. Being humble doesn't mean that others should control you or abuse you or allow you to be used. I don't mean that. I mean just being humble and being good and helping others. So as you can see, we're going to this idea of not only sacrifice, but helping others generally and helping yourself. This is what generally speaking, earns you spiritual gold. Now, you can use the spiritual gold through prayer, meditation, even Reiki, or other methods that you find useful to transform this gold for your use, for your health, for your evolution, for helping others even. I haven't thought about that, to be honest with you, now that it comes to mind. Helping others with your spiritual gold will earn you more spiritual gold? I'm not sure. Maybe. I haven't tried that way. I have barely tried for me, so using my own. Keeping spiritual gold, never using it, accumulates it over future existences. Your spirit is the one that accumulates spiritual gold, not your physical body. You can transform that into money, although I would transform it if you are caring about only abundance and physical money because maybe you need it, you're lacking, or you need more of it because of different responsibilities, and I get that, it's okay. Perhaps the best way would be, in this case, using spiritual gold for unlocking blockages, in case there are any, for financial blockages, for unblocking financial blockages, or for using it for finding new opportunities that are healthy and beneficial for you and for your perspective, from all levels beneficial for you, unlocking different opportunities for obtaining or gaining more money. Again, in a healthy way, in a mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically healthy way, and legal way, preferably. So healthy way implies that as well. So what I'm trying to say is just use it for opportunities or for unblocking the abundance flow. Maybe that's a wiser way of using it instead of converting it into gaining more money. I know it's kind of similar. First, it sounds a bit similar, like wouldn't the conversion of spiritual gold into money be the same as unlocking more abundance? Not exactly, because in this case, you're using it for gaining a different flow. So it's a different perspective. You can find new ways of earning spiritual gold. I'm sure of that. There are many other ways. Those are the ones that first came to mind, the ones that I'm writing in my newsletters. And that's the way I see it up until this moment. And perhaps in the future, I can find new ways, or I will find new ideas or concepts of how to generate spiritual gold. So it's not everything set in stone. And if you find new ways or if you have new ideas, please share them with me in the comments. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to help other Reiki enthusiasts find it. Also, if you're struggling to stay consistent or you're ready to bring Reiki back into your life but don't know where to start, join our 21 Reiki challenge, where we practice Reiki together for 21 days. Find the link in the description below this video. Many blessings, and I'll see you in the next one.